everybody, FG at you again. Working on another project here. This is kind of a little bit of an upgrade to a project that's already completed, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that when I go ahead and switch to the other camera view, and I'll show you the parts. Just real quick, my kids gave me this shirt last year for Father's Day, and so I thought that it would be appropriate for me to fit this into one of my videos, and hopefully they get to see it. So Belle, Jesse, you're internet famous now. Coming back at you in a minute, and I'll show you what's going on. Catch you on the flip side. Okay everybody, in my Frontier intro video I ran around and showed different parts of the truck. Today I'm going to concentrate on the fusion relay center that I had created from scratch. And let me give you a quick view here again. And I've already removed all of the hold down screws because I'm actually going to go ahead and make a minor modification to the lid here. Alright everyone, so I'm back again here, and so you can see what I'm doing here. I've taken the cover panel off of the electrical box and flipped it over. So this is the back side, the side which is inside the box. And I'm putting tape on here, and you're probably going to say, why are you doing that? Well, what I'm going to do here is, if you see, I left some of this area exposed. Now I am going to be taking a razor blade and cutting along here to make a perimeter all the way around. What I'm then going to do is take some fine sandpaper, sand the plastic, clean it again briefly, and then I'm going to lay down a coat of black paint. What that's going to do is create a perimeter on the inside of the plastic, which keeps the ugly weather stripping, which is located underneath, from being visible. When I first did this project, I really didn't spend enough time detailing it out. I went ahead and I was more concerned about getting the wiring in and getting it up and running, which so far it's actually been flawless. It's been installed in the truck just about 2 years now, and never had any electrical trouble with it. I just really wasn't super pleased with the way it looked. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up that detail today. This is a trick that I learned from my car audio days many years ago. I believe I'd mentioned in one of the other videos that I had a 1983 Chevrolet Camaro that I installed a fairly elaborate system into. It had dual batteries, a 6 CD changer, 3 amplifiers, a head unit, analog crossover and signal processing, and 14 speakers. That was back in the day before DSP was really a big thing on the scene yet. Anyhow, regardless of that, this was a trick that I learned during those days when people would often put a Lexan acrylic window in the top of the amplifier rack to allow people to look inside and see all the wiring that you'd done, but yet keep everything enclosed and dust free, and also to be able to channel the air where you wanted it to flow. I actually had a cross-flow system set up where the amps were inside of that box with a large pancake fan which pulled air through it and then expelled it to keep the amplifiers from overheating. Now the amps had their own fans as well, but if the the pancake fan was doing its job correctly, the internal fans never turned on. So that worked out pretty well. So anyway, as I was saying, this was a dress-up trick that I learned from those days, from watching other installers who were building systems professionally for automobiles that were $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 systems sometimes. Back when I only had probably a couple thousand invested into mine, so they were definitely in a much higher client category than where I was working. But give me a few minutes here, we'll come back to the video and I'll show you the progress on how this is all going to lay out, and I think you'll get a much clearer idea of what I'm doing. Alright everyone, here you can see that I paused for a moment during the painting process to shoot this part of the video. You can see at the top where it's black, and if you look at the bottom you can see where the color of the Lexan is still showing, and I went ahead and scuffed that with some sandpaper before laying down a couple coats of paint. I'm going to put one coat on now and probably wait an hour or two, come back and shoot it again and let this dry overnight, and go ahead and reinstall it into the truck in the morning, this being Friday afternoon. I want to make sure that the paint is fully cured before working with it, and since I don't need to drive the truck tonight, it gives me time to work with that. So as you can see how this is coming along now, I think that gives you a clear idea of what's happening. The color coat will be on the back side, so regardless of whatever happens to the Lexan once it's under the hood, the color is actually protected because it's on the inside of the actual plastic. Lexan is a material, I don't remember who the manufacturer is. It's a brand name of polycarbonate. It's very tough stuff, stacked in layers with glass and Lexan in a composite layered weave is how well, it's not truly bulletproof. Bullet resistant glass is manufactured. Anything with a large enough bullet, like a 50 caliber, will punch a hole through it regardless, but it will stop small arms fire and pistols anyway. This is the same exact stuff. This is an 1/8 inch thick, and one of the properties, of course, that I was concerned about was heat resistance. I wondered would I have problems with it melting or slumping over time. So I looked it up before I purchased it, and if I recall off the top of my head, it was good for just about 400 degrees, and I'm sure that the engine is never going to reach that type of temperature in that area because the intake manifold is plastic. So if we were going to have those kinds of temperature issues, I think I'd have much bigger problems than whether my Lexan cover was melting or not. So this concludes the video for today, and I'll go ahead and show everyone later on when I'm done with that. I'm going to bolt everything back down, and I'll show you the final product. And also I'm going to, as I had mentioned earlier, include some notes and the wiring diagram if anyone is thinking that they would like to make something similar to this for any of their projects. What I have here are 5 switches for light bar control and 1 switch which is for the electric auxiliary fan, which I mounted in front of the transmission cooler. That might be a project I might detail on another video. There are actually 7 relays because there are 2 for the cooling fan located on the transmission cooler. One of them is connected directly to the manual override switch, and the other one is connected to a temperature probe which turns it on and off automatically. So that's why, even though 6 switches, 7 relays. So we have it for today.